And to me, that was mind blowing at the time. So that was like my second aha moment where I was like, wow, okay, now I really see the potential. Now let me even go harder on the online stuff. And I'm still training people in the gym during all that time.
Jay Ferrugia is an amazing human being, someone I highly respect, I highly look up to, because he's not only an amazing man and a great friend that I'm so grateful to be able to call, but an absolute remarkable performer. The work he puts out into the world is world class. And I wanted to be able to share this interview with you today because there is so much for you to be able to pick up and really practically use when it comes to being able to build a business that you love and a life that you love as well. So as we go through this, I really want you to make sure that you take notes. Jay's dropping a lot of wisdom inside of this interview, and especially when it comes down to really seeing what has someone had to go through to be able to create the success, to create the life that they're in. This episode is going to be showing you. And where we start off is where I want to go straight to, which is why did he actually get started in the fitness industry? Now, for myself, I got started in the fitness industry when I was a personal trainer back at 18 years old, but we really break down to the genesis story of Jay.
So I got started in the fitness industry in 1994. I was going to school and just became obsessed with training. And so I started interning in the weight room and then started training people. I got my certification second semester of, I guess it would have been sophomore year, and then started training people that spring and summer. And by the end of summer, somehow I was on pace to make, it sounds crazy, but I was on pace already to make 6 figures when I was 19. So that was basically how I got started, was just, just jumping right in, and got a lot of word of mouth referrals. And it didn't seem like, in 1994, it didn't seem like personal training and fitness was the thing it is right now, So I think what I was doing at the time was unique because I think so many people were still just going to Golds or Balis, and I was from the get-go, for whatever reason, I was into like the old school stuff and strongman stuff. I was fortunate enough to find that stuff, so it was kind of unique. So I think that's why we were able to grow the business so quickly at the beginning.
Now, this is where I want to go. Why, Jay, did you get started online? Because I know for myself, I started my online fitness business because I wanted to be able to create more freedom. I wanted to be able to help more people. I wanted to be able to help more money. And especially with myself being a trainer of the gym, and I think any fitness expert or any expert, anyone in actually a service industry will relate to being in what I call the time for money trap, which is you can only see so many clients, you can only help so many people, you can only charge so much, you can only earn so much money. And so this is where we wanted to dissect. Why did Jay get started online? And then how does it then build onto the success that he has today?
I first decided to go online after I'd been training people for probably about 10 years. And, at that point, most people in the fitness industry are burnt. You've been working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and you're just absolutely fried. And then you realize no matter how many people you can serve and help in the gym, it's never going to compare to online, because the most people I ever worked with in a day was probably 70, and that was doing groups of 6, 10, 12, and that's a lot. You're still destroyed at the end of the day, you're wiped out. But, you could post a workout online and reach 70,000 people or 700,000 people. So I kind of had that idea, and so I think it was 2001 I started writing. And then I decided to start selling stuff in 2003, and nobody was really doing it. So I said, all right, let me try to just put together self-publish a little ebook and have I think it was a 90-day workout at the time. And I sold it for $9.99. And it wasn't really doing anything. It was making me a few $100 a month. But at that time, that was great. It was helping pay for food or whatever. And then Men's Fitness did a 1-page feature on me. And now you wouldn't have the same impact today, but they put, pictures of me, talked about my ebook and a link to it. And then, so I go from making $300 a month on this to $300 a day. And I was like, oh my God, $300 a day, that's 6 figures. This is crazy. This is like, there's quite a big potential here. So let me really figure this out now. It can't be an afterthought. Like, it's not just an ebook with a link. Now let me figure out, sales copy and conversions and how to do this right. So that journey was me trying to figure it out on my own, reading, studying, going to seminars, all that kind of stuff. And then Craig Ballantyne saying, hey, I figured this out now. Craig had hired Tom Benuto, who was, one of the original guys making a ton of money online. So here's what Tom taught me. So combined with, what Craig and I had studied and learned on our own, with what he had paid Tom, Craig taught me some stuff. And then we relaunched something in 2006 and I made 25 grand in 3 days. To me, that was mind blowing at the time. So that was like my second aha moment where I was like, wow, okay, now I really see the potential. Now let me even go harder on the online stuff. And I'm still training people in the gym during all that time. And I think like a lot of people, I was trying to balance it, and then eventually you have to pick one or the other, at least to go more all in on. Then, at first it was gym and the online stuff was here. Then it kind of got evened out. And then, 12, 13 years into it, I'm burnt. And I'm like, man, I have so much more potential. So then I shifted with the gym. I spent less hours in the gym, started transitioning out, and put more focus just into online and everything that goes into that.
What Jay says here, I couldn't believe, because it was so much of a very similar story to what I was going through previously. And I think this is going to relate to you and a lot of other people as well. But especially when it comes to what is actually involved with reinventing yourself, which I think is a really critical topic for us. I think what Jay's going to share with you right now is critical.
That was, I think it was just the success started to snowball. And then, all the feedback from all the people, I'm saying, wow, I'm able to impact and reach so many more people and help more people transform their lives, their bodies, whatever it might be. And then again, honestly, it was just a lot of the burnout too, and wanting a different lifestyle. Like I'm all about, hustle, grind, but like you gotta have a life too. You gotta have some balance. You gotta have relationships and fun and a social life. So I had sacrificed a lot of my 20s and my early 30s, and I was like, man, I can't do this forever. So I wanted to, all those things came into play. And then I also wanted to move. And a lot of that was for the weather and just being in California, and I couldn't do another winter, but I wanted to give myself a chance to reinvent myself too. So I had to move. And so I moved to Cali, and that was I tried to run the gym across country for the first 2 years, I believe, with my brother at the helm, and it just wasn't working. So I finally just sold it to him, and then it just went all in on the online stuff. I mean, of course, I'm still in front of people a lot with events and whatnot. I'm not doing the day-to-day grind at the gym anymore.
Now, what Jay's about to share with you, please pause, stop, put everything down, get ready for this, especially if you're in the fitness industry and you're going to be able to relate to this situation. I wish I heard this advice so much earlier.
So for somebody who's in the fitness industry and is in that day-to-day grind right now, training a lot of people, I mean, there's so many things I would say, but the first thing is you have to do something. I think so many people are just like, oh, this sucks, I'm overwhelmed. But then 5 years later, you're still doing that. So you got to decide and take action and pull the trigger on something. And a lot of that is going to come down to you saying no to clients and freeing up some time. Like if you're just grinding 12 hours a day, there's no time to think. There's no time to formulate that plan. There's no time to start transitioning to something else. So you got to start maybe saying, okay, now I don't take clients Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12 till 4. And now you start your side hustle, or you start your online stuff, or you just formulate a different plan. Because a lot of us start out and we don't really know business. We just know training and biomechanics and nutrition and all that. And we think that's enough. And then maybe build a successful business. And you're like, dude, I haven't set this up right from the beginning, which was my thing. Like I just got into training, and then all of a sudden 10 years in, I'm like, oh my God, I'm working 18 hours a day and it's successful, but I didn't set any of this up right from the beginning. So I needed to start blocking off some time and then hiring coaches and reading stuff like, okay, now how do I put systems in play? How can I charge more? A lot of people, it just comes down to like, if you just charge more, everyone's scared to charge more, but there's almost never a time that I've ever coached someone where I said, just start charging 25, 50% more, 100% more, where they didn't make money. And a lot of times you're like, well, I'm going to lose a bunch of people. That's probably good. Do you want to keep working 14 hours a day forever? You want to lose some people. So you go from 14 hours to 8 hours, but you're making way more money. Some people a lot of people who are still doing one-on-one, and there's a time and place to do one-on-one when it's maybe the right thing. Like if you live here in Hollywood and people want to pay $500 an hour, they don't want to share that time. That's okay. But if you're charging $60 an hour and doing one-on-one, talk to your clients, be, hey, can I train you at the same time as Sally? We're going to start doing this, and start getting into 2-on-1, 3-on-1. New people tomorrow, add 50%. Like a price that you're uncomfortable. Like if you're charging $100 now, someone calls tomorrow, say it's 150. You want a lot of the people to say, no, that's too expensive. Because no one ever says that. You're definitely not charging enough. So I think it just comes down to charging more and freeing up that time to figure out how to do things the right way.
Now, it's not all going to be rainbows, unicorns, and cash and clients just falling from the sky and being able to build everything really quickly. It's going to be inevitable that there are going to be hard times. There are going to be times where things are just going to plainly suck. And what is it that we need to be able to do when we get to those times? That is what I think is really important. And that is why what Jay shares right now is absolutely something we should just etch in stone to be able to help us get to the success, get to the life, get to the things that we want to be able to achieve.
So it got hard for me about 10 years into it. Like I said, business is really successful. I'm there 10, 12 hours a day. And I was loving it. Like I was getting burnt out, but I was still loving it. Like doing what I wanted to do. And our building was being sold, and everyone in that building, all the tenants had I think 6 months or something to get out, because the new owners were gonna do something completely different. So we had to go, the yoga studio had to go, everybody had to kind of find a new place. And in Jersey, where I was at the time, to do what we did, you had to get a recreational use variance, and it was a bit of a pain in the ass. You had to get a lawyer and stuff like that. So I searched and searched and searched, couldn't find a spot. And so the 6 months came and I had to shut down temporarily. And so I had tears in my eyes telling a lot of my clients that I've been with for 3 to 10 years, hey, we're shutting down. I don't know what we're going to do. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I was like, this is all I've ever done. Like a lot of things in life, the hard time was kind of a silver lining, because that gave me the time that I had said earlier that you need to force yourself to have. That gave me the time to step away from the gym to say, well, what else can I do? How do I do this? And it was during that time period that I really focused on the online stuff. So, it was kind of a blessing in disguise, but it was tough at the time.
So especially if right now you're in a position and you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling confused, you're feeling like there's just a lot of things that you need to be able to do, and you're feeling like there's a lot of weight on your shoulders, especially because you're already busy most likely. And therefore, how do you actually go through the steps to getting to where you want to be able to go? Well, that's why we answer this.
There was never really a time that I can remember that I nearly stopped. There's been a lot of times where I probably was like, I just don't know what to do. I was frustrated. I was confused. I probably should have hired coaches sooner. So I for a long time, I just had this thing where I had to do it all on my own and figure it all out on my own. And that drove me insane. And so there's a lot of times when it was hard. I never really thought about giving up, but if you're overwhelmed and you're confused and you don't know what to do, I get it. I mean, we all go through that. Having gone through that myself and having experienced that, I would say, knowing what I know now, I would say you have to pick something. You have to make a decision, because that is the worst kind of purgatory and suffering, is just to be sitting there for days, weeks, and months going, should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? Like, you just have to pick pretend you're the president. And everybody comes to you and is like, hey, we need to make this decision. Like, you don't have months and weeks, you have an hour. So make a decision and then never look back. And that's what successful people do. Some of the smartest people, some of the most artistic people will suffer with that forever, because they can analyze and see the positives and negatives of both. So you have to pick something. And again, it comes back to, I think a lot of times, having a coach to just tell you that. I think a lot of people they hire coaches for fitness or nutrition or something like that. Sometimes you just need to hire a coach for business to tell you this is what to do. Even if it's one of these 3 options, if you just pay someone who says it's option B, you're going to do it, So I think that's probably the smartest thing, is just hire someone.
Let's just take a breath for a second, because one of the key things, and something I've personally been able to learn from Jay and literally watching him live, is indecisiveness is something that can be absolutely crushing us, and which is why I really want to make sure that we are able to just skip over, just miss, just become the person that is able to be decisive, because that is something that's so important.
So if you're indecisive, and I was indecisive for years, I think the way we grew up, I was in fear a lot. I was in fear of so many things. So that when it came to making decisions, I was scared of that, because I was like, what if I make the wrong decision? This is going to be horrific. The world's going to end. I'm going to be broke and homeless, So you just have to, you have to have that awareness, right? Okay, I suck at making decisions. Just like if I sucked at squatting or I sucked at basketball playing the guitar, okay, now what are the steps to get better? And force yourself every day. So it comes to small decisions. Pick where you're gonna go eat faster. Instead of looking through 800 places on Yelp, just decide. When you get to the restaurant, maybe give yourself 2 minutes to decide. Like small things, and then over time, that makes it easier to make bigger decisions. If there's hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line, that's a big decision. It doesn't mean you should spend 4 months making it. Like you still have to make the decision, and then you can course correct as you go. And also, not like the success and the confidence comes when you do that more often, because you're like, oh, it's not that bad anyway. Even if it does fail, it's never as bad as you imagine it to be.
Okay, this is really cool because a lot of the times in interviews, and especially when I'm wanting to learn from someone's story, yes, we definitely want to learn from their mistakes, but also I want to be able to learn from their high points. I want to learn from where they're doing such great things as well. And I want you, as Jay is going to share with you this, I want you to imagine in your own mind, what is it that you really want to achieve in your life? Like really, if you could achieve anything that you want, what would it be? Why do you want to be able to have that? What's that life that you really want to be able to have? Which is why I get Jay to share this with you, because this is so important. And as you're listening to Jay explain exactly the great things that are happening right now, I would love for you to comment below and be, what is the one biggest thing that you want to be able to achieve in your life? Because it all starts with you being able to take a stand, make a mark, and say it. So then from here, we can actually get on to making that real.
Yeah, the best part of my life now, quite honestly, is, it's great that we get to live on the beach, and it's great that I love where I live, and I get to do so many cool things. I get to go to the comedy store all the time, and I get to go backstage to concerts and wrestling and sports. But really it's the people that I get to spend the time with that I can't believe. Like I tear up almost on a daily basis when I think about my closest friends and who I'm with. And on any weekly basis, when I look at, who I'm with and what I'm doing, it's like, this is fantasy camp. This is amazing. I actually said that to Mary when we were at a show recently. I was like, I can't believe this is my life. And I was with Tony Blauer recently, and he said the same thing. He's like, this life we have is insane. And that's really cool. Like we were just driving down the PCH on a Tuesday, just taking off work, and have the ability to do that. So when not only a friend, but someone who's an amazing human being, someone I'm a fan of, someone who is the best in the world at what they do, they call me and say, hey, you want to take off work and go hiking? The fact that I can do that and spend time with those people, like that's the best thing. That's amazing. And I think, gratitude, #gratitude is like a trendy thing these days. And for a while I was like, that's stupid. Because I know a lot of people are just doing it as a gimmick and they're not really feeling it. It took me, honestly, until probably 6 months ago, 2019, to really feel what that is. When now, each day I am really overwhelmed with gratitude when I get up and think about those people and the experiences and where we live and all those things. And it gives me goosebumps and it brings tears to my eyes now. So now I genuinely feel gratitude. And I don't know how you can get there overnight. I don't know that there's an easy step. Like I can't tell someone, hey, read this book. I think it's a lot of books, practices, who you're with, what you do, your mindset, your self-awareness. But over time, if you can get to that state, like it's an amazing thing. So that's kind of where I'm at.
So what is it that Jay wants you to be able to do from right now, from this episode, moving forward? How do you actually make this good use of your time? And what are the steps to make sure that you're moving towards the life and success that you want to be able to have? Stop, slow down, and actually listen to what Jay is going to say right now. Now, if you're in the fitness industry, this is going to apply directly, but if you're not, there is still a lot that you're going to be able to take away from this.
I think what I would say to coaches and trainers today, to take action on something is decide what you want your future to look like. Start moving in that direction. Again, no deliberating, no asking for opinions, and is focus on what's really important. And you have to decide what's important to you. Is it, making a certain amount of money? Is it contributing to this cause? I think when you have a goal and a clear destination, it makes it a lot easier. And it makes your decisions easier to make. Like if every decision is based on, hey, here's my goal, here's how I'm getting there. So clarity on that. And then I think a lot of people in the fitness industry, and I don't want to offend anybody because I've been in the fitness industry, a lot of us get into it for reasons, not necessarily selfish reasons, but I got into it. I know so many people that got into it because we were skinny, insecure, we were maybe made fun of, beaten up, bullied or whatnot. And so to really take your career to the next level, your business, your happiness, you have to address that at some point. Like just putting on a ton of muscle and strength helps, you're more confident, but you have to address what's in your head and what's in your heart, and you have to do the deep work. And honestly, we'll say, oh, well, I just want to get Tim Ferriss's new business book or this new business book or that new self-development book. And that's great, but you have to work, or that new personal training book, I should say, but you have to work on your personal development. That's going to grow your business. That's going to grow your relationships. That's going to make you happier. So I think, and honestly, it sounds crazy right now, but I went 35 years without even thinking about personal development. Like I'm 45 now. So the last 10 years have been a real journey of doing the deep work. And you have to do the deep work on yourself, and then everything else does improve for sure.
I really hope that you enjoyed this episode with Jay Ferrugia. As you can see, a remarkable, remarkable man and human being. There is so much wisdom and gold inside of that episode, and I've just got a huge gratefulness, a huge thanks for Jay being able to share that with us today. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the show, please do so, because it would be a bummer if you missed out on all of these amazing interviews, amazing conversations, amazing episodes coming your way. And if you're joining us on YouTube, then please comment below. Do let me know, what is that one thing that you want to be able to achieve from today moving forward, so that we can come in and build a community for us to help each other actually make that happen. If you're joining us on iTunes or on Stitcher or on Spotify, then please make sure that you leave a review and comment. Let me know what is it that you're being able to get out of this episode, out of this show, because I want to make sure that we're giving you exactly what it is that you want moving forward. And I just want to hear from you. So thank you so much for being here, and I'm looking forward to having you with us in the next episode.